masculine.
Yeah, not to have any emotions or feelings, and just to be really treated like absolute rubbish, to be honest, and by women, and sort of to be bitched about all day, if you like. Oh, and you're going to say, oh, that's gendered language. Well, so what if it is? It's an accurate description, quite frankly.
Well, I mean, this is so. Well, let me bring in the professor here. I'm afraid to say, well, I think we do have an incel on the line here, Professor.
This guy didn't even display traits of being an incel. He didn't complain about being single or anything, yet he's called an incel. How's that not proof enough to you, normies? How's that not proof enough that men are only called incel because they complain about things, because they show vulnerability, because they express valid issues they have to face, that literally gets them to the brink, that literally makes them crazy, that makes them depressed, that makes them suicidal, everything.
So what would you say to Adam?
So I think this really speaks to one of my central points, which is there's this schism that's growing between men and women. The one thing I would say in Adam's favor is that a lot of men feel like when they have frustrations around women that they're not allowed to talk about it, and that's why they retreat to some of these online spaces, and that's really where the misogyny.
They retreat to online spaces because there's nowhere else to go. Women have everywhere to go. They could talk about men. They could talk about so-called cis men. They can complain about them. They can do whatever they want. Yet us men can't even talk about women.
Views fester. But it really boils down to this. I truly think that, and some of your viewers will know people in their life who maybe they're a woman who says that they hate all men, or maybe they're a man that says they hate all women. If you think about people like that who are basically saying, I don't get on with 50% of the population, I challenge your viewers to think, do they know anyone like that who's actually happy with their life? Because I've never met someone who's happy hating 50% of the population. And I think we're becoming more and more polarized in the country, politically, spiritually, philosophically. And I think we need to be brought back together because we do need each other. Men need women and women need men.
Adam, what would convince you that...
barriers?
Okay, Adam, what would convince you that women are not all bad?
I don't suggest that women are all bad. I suggest that we live in a society in which men are required to behave a certain way in love. They're required to be as bad boy as possible by the behaviour of women, and the behaviour of women gets worse and worse as time goes on, quite frankly. And then in the home, they're expected to be very masculine.
You see, it's really crazy. He always ends up with the question, how are you going to believe that not all women are like that? It always becomes like this. What's going to make you believe that not all women are like that? How are we going to convince you that? It's always this gaslighting thing, because they always they always put words in their mouth, and it's just crazy. I don't even get this anymore.
Who requires you to be like this? Who is requiring you to act in that way?
Women require me to act in that way. Women require men to be extremely blokey. The more bad boy, the more attractive.
Adam,
they always
I'm
go for
sorry.
the attractive one.
Adam,
You have created a
go on.
marketplace of
This is
men.
so interesting. Matthew.
Adam, I'd like to try and give you a bit of hope. I'm not here to condescend, and I'm not here to have a bit of a bun fight with you after hearing what you've said. My partner says she loves me, despite being a 6'3" bloke that can handle himself, because of my sensitivity and because I'm a nice person that cares. Please don't let people put you off because you think you have to be something. You are perfectly fine as you are. This isn't intended to be condescending, but there will be somewhere that appreciates your nature in however you naturally are. Please don't put it under misogyny and whatever.
What a way to just deflect from everything. What a way to play cognitive behavioral therapist. I mean, just ignoring exact systemic issues, and you're just playing cognitive behavioral therapist. Someone's always there for you. Well, why is not the case? Just be yourself. Then why do employers want us to have so much experience? Why are some talents valid, and why are some talents monetized and other talents are not? Why do we have to be this and why do we have to be that? Why is the media always making fun of men who are not, quote unquote, keeping up in life? Why are people not letting... You know what? I'll just bring myself into this conversation. When I try again the group conversation as an autistic, why don't you include me in the group conversation? Why don't you accommodate my unique learning styles? Why do you make things always harder for me? Why? If you're telling me I should just be myself, then why do you insist on making things harder for me? Why do you insist on doing nothing while life gets much harder for people like me? I'm tired of this crap.
Adam, I'm going to just...
Could I come in on that?
Yes, yep.
Is that all right? Because for as much as Matt, I understand your sentiment, I think things like that really aren't helping. And this kind of shows how people don't really understand the incel community, because an incel will come back straight.
Why are you even surprised that men are unhappy? Just look at what we have to go through. Did you know that the average life expectancy for men is lower than that of women? Now, we could go qualitative and just explain why that is. But you know that on average, stats are stats, and that's what happens on average. We men have lower life expectancies, yet we're expected to work more. And we're expected to retire later in life than women. Our quality of life is worse than that compared to the opposite sex. And you expect us to be happy? You expect us to be content with all of that? We can't even express ourselves. We can't even be shy. We can't do this or that. We can't just go into saying that, oh, don't care about what we're building. Well, the problem is, if we don't care about what we're building, the problem with the idea of not caring about our building, there's a huge hole in that idea, because the problem is, the way people perceive you has an effect on your opportunities in the job market. It has your effect on your opportunities on how people see you. If you make a mistake, something that goes all the way to the grave. Something that leads to just financial loss and even jail time for men. We don't have much cushions for failure. And this is why we're unhappy, because we're just tired of all this. We're tired of being stressed. We're tired of society's expectations for us. We're tired of gender roles. We're tired of being mistreated. We're tired of being gaslit. We're tired of being made fun of just for being vulnerable. We're tired of everything. We're tired of empty platitudes. We need change. We're tired of being told that we need mentorship, yet it's so fucking hard. We're tired of being told that men need mentors. These poor, impoverished men need mentors. Yet at the same time, we try to go for mentorship. We try to find mentorship, and it's so hard to find, and it's expensive. It's hard for us to access. We're tired of being gaslit telling it's our fault. We're tired of being gaslit and being told it's our fault, when clearly we live in the caste system, and lots of our shortcomings are not all of our fault. It's because of systemic issues. It's because it's many things that we have out of our control.
Away and say, well, you're 6'3", height is desirable in women. I'm 5'7". It's hopeless for me. It's not personality that counts. And what we need to do is we need to think about those types of arguments and what's wrong with those arguments, and attacking at that level. That sort of generic advice.
It's not an argument. It's what we have to go through. The guy you're interviewing is just getting the courage to finally talk about what we have to go through.
Is something that just bounces off of the incel rhetoric.
Okay. Adam, do you want to say anything else before we let you go, Adam?
No, I feel that sometimes at work men are required to be very submissive, very womanly, and this contrast with and then at other times they're expected not to have any emotions, be very masculine. Men are expected to be all things to all people, and it doesn't.
Well, I argue men aren't really expected to be womanly. We're expected to be masculine, and we're expected to be dissed by certain ages. I mean, you look at like videos, you see videos by people like Bulldog Mindset telling us that, oh, if you're not out of the house by 18, you're a failure. This is what we have to go through. It's not womanly expectations. If it's womanly expectations, then we would have less expectations. We'll be told that if it was womanly expectations, then there will be hardly any expectations for us. There'll be more room for us to be ourselves. There'll be more room for us to grow, there'll be more accommodations for us. There'll be more opportunities for us. So I think it's wrong that you say it's quote unquote womanly expectations.
work.
All right, thank you so much. That's so fascinating because, of course, the Andrew Tate model is to be, you know, that person with the biceps.
Back to that same old Andrew Tate argument. Look, Andrew Tate is a provocateur. He's a grifter. He doesn't really represent it. What Andrew Tate does is just reinforcing what women really want from men, which is to be extremely masculine and to be tough and all this other stuff. So whatever Andrew Tate does, the opposite sex does the same thing actually, and just way more worse.
Smoking.
I will say,
and
I
Adam
mean-
thinks that what is he? I can't really understand because it's too. He thinks men need to be bad boys, but at the same time, women want them to be more sensitive. I don't.
Well, I think what, yeah, I don't really necessarily understand.
No, he's saying that women are allowed to be more sensitive than men.
This sort of.
I think he's just very, very cross.
I think very cross with women. It
Yeah.
sounds.
Okay, thanks for saying to this, because that was really hard for me to watch. I've dealt with people like that guy in the blue outfit, like him. He just says, oh, just be yourself. There's always someone out there for you. But yet they don't even act like that to me. They don't act like that to me. They're opposite. They're two-faced people. But yeah, thanks for watching the video.